This is Automated Thought. Hey everyone. You know, if you're a liberal, then the internet's been kind of a rough place this last week or so. Ever since Donald Trump won the election, yeah, everyone's lining up to taste your sweet, salty tears. Heck, even my favorite podcast, The Drunken Peasants, they've been almost unwatchable since the election. I mean, they giggled and snarked their way through the whole thing, always complaining that Hillary was so bad and Donald Trump would at least be interesting. But there was one small moment as they were covering the election returns where a little tiny ray of awareness broke through the haze, and one of them turned to the others and said,
"Hey guys, I just realized, like a President Trump and like a Republican Congress, that could be like really bad for our legal weed here in Washington, you know? Oh my gosh."
And these four jackasses, they're plenty old enough to have learned that when Republicans are in power, yeah, bad things tend to happen. And just like everyone else, they're lining up to make fun of all the SJWs, all those rich college girls and spoiled Ivy League brats who thought that Hillary was 100% going to win and that the country would never vote for a sexist, misogynist, transphobic, homophobic piece of shit like Donald Trump. And yes, I can understand the schadenfreude here. I mean, we all can laugh at the thought of Trigglypuff deploying her flaps in rage after Donald Trump won. But I ask you, whatever sweetness you're getting from that, is it really worth losing the Consumer Protection Bureau, Medicare, and net neutrality? I don't think so. Plus, look at the company that it puts you in. Every right-wing shitbag that I know, like my favorite punching shitbag, Robert Stacey McCain, former assistant national editor of the National Review, and Jed Clampett cosplayer extraordinaire, he's been spending all his time tracking down every young feminist and their little impressionable daughters who thought that they would finally have a woman president so he can laugh at them and insult them online. And look, if you're a grown-ass man and making fun of women half your age is what gets you off, then, dude, you're a piece of shit. You got a fucking hole in your soul, brother. You need to take a look in the fucking mirror and realize that, you may be gray as fuck, but you still a child, man. You ain't grown. Hell no, you ain't grown. Because as silly as a lot of SJWs are, I can kind of sympathize with them. I mean, there are tons of good reasons to make fun of social justice warriors, but this is not one of them.
Yeah, look at these little bitches. They wanted their country to have a competent, reasonable leader. Those spoiled little shits.
If there are any young people watching this, then, well, this is a lesson. Horrible things do happen in history. History is pretty much mostly a succession of horrible, horrible things. For my generation, it was the tragic injustice of Bush versus Gore, where Al Gore, who won the popular vote, was overturned by a bunch of Bush loyalists on the Supreme Court, leading to 8 years of endless fuckery. I hope Trump's not going to be that bad, but he certainly has the potential. And elections like this have happened all throughout history. Let's just take a look back at what your liberal parents went through in the 60s and 70s. After World War II and the fairly peaceful reign of the beloved old Dwight Eisenhower, the baby boomers finally had a president of their own, the young, dashing, charming JFK. Everyone loved him, he was great. And then some asshole shot him. Anyway, his vice president took over. His vice president was Lyndon Baines Johnson, a real fucking dick-swinging, twisted piece of shit from Texas. He escalated the Vietnam War, which is something way worse than any young people are going to go through today. But then, 5 years later, there was a new ray of hope on the political scene. John F. Kennedy's brother, Robert Kennedy. He was going to be great. I mean, surely he was going to win the presidency, right? And he was going to start this glorious new era? And then he was shot too by some asshole with two names, Sirhan. I don't even know what that guy's issue was. Can anyone tell me? So Robert Kennedy was dead, and the Democrats had to settle for some chump named Hubert Humphrey. And he went down to Richard Nixon. Richard Nixon, the Republican, originally lost to John F. Kennedy years previous, but he clawed his way back from defeat, won the presidency in 1968, and went on to become a memorable Futurama villain. Can you imagine how your parents felt, thinking they were going to get another Kennedy and ending up with Nixon? That must have been rough. And then Nixon was shamed into resigning after the Watergate scandal. His vice president, Spiro Agnew, had resigned previously because of some other scandal, leaving the presidency in the hands of Gerald Ford. Strangely enough, since he replaced a vice president, never received a single vote. So imagine what that was like. Your parents going from JFK to Gerald Ford and then Jimmy Carter, and then ending with the election of Reagan, who, I don't care, he was a piece of shit. Sorry, Reagan fans, he was a crappy president. And that was just in modern times. Heck, you could go back to the 1876 election between Rutherford B. Hayes versus Samuel Tilden. That was a bloodbath. Go read about that shit. You can bet that there were people who lived the rest of their lives saying, "God damn it, Samuel Tilden won that race. Rutherford B. Hayes stole it, he did." So yeah, if you're an SJW and Hillary losing is the first time when you feel as if your country has careened off the tracks into some sort of dark, evil alternate timeline, it happens to us all. Now we know how all the old white racist people felt back in 2008. Back then, when Barack Obama won, they were curled up in a fetal position saying, "Oh, he's black and he's an Arab and his name's Hussein. This just ain't my country no more. This ain't America. It can't be." We all made fun of them, so now they get to make fun of us. Karma's a fucking bitch. Anyway, as of right now, there's nearly a month before the electors meet to ratify the election. Donald Trump doesn't officially become the president until December 19th. So if there are any hackers out there who can hack Donald Trump and maybe prove that he's done some truly treasonous shit with Russia, or maybe if there's a mob guy out there who was paid to knock someone off, maybe push someone in front of a subway train back in 1983, and Donald Trump gave the order, now would be a really good time to make that shit public. Because remember, on December 19th, the electors can vote for anyone they choose. There's some hackers listening to this, right? Come on, Mr. Robot. I know you can do it, man. You're Mr. Robot. You can do anything. I still need to see Mr. Robot Season 2. That first season was a humdinger. Let me tell you, if you haven't seen Mr. Robot, watch it. It'll make you feel better. Like us, Mr. Robot lives in a horrible, near-dystopian world where evil reigns supreme. But he still gets up and he still fights every day. Or he snorts a bunch of morphine. You know, either one is good. Anyway, as usual, if you like this video, like, comment, and subscribe to Automated Thought. Stop.